"Sir, I'm going to have to request that you step away from the flag." The voice of the airport manager cracked with tension, firm but unsure as his hand wavered inches from the casket draped in stars and stripes. The Marine did not flinch. His gloved hand stayed rooted firmly on the flag, back straight, eyes forward, silent. Passengers froze in mid-step, voices ceased to exist. The air was thicker than the burden of the world, and right there at gate 42B a war quietly was being fought, not with bullets but with dignity. "I said, step back, you're not permitted to touch the cargo," the manager repeated louder, now calling for security to close in. He didn't understand, he couldn't. Still no reaction. Finally the Marine said, calm, measured, like he'd rehearsed it his whole life, "With all due respect, sir, this isn't cargo, this is a Marine, and I will not leave his side." A Transportation Security Administration agent stepped forward. "Look, we have procedures. You're holding up operations." The Marine gradually turned his head, making eye contact with the man. "There are procedures, and then they're not necessarily compatible." His honor behind him, the American flag, was perfectly spread out and across the casket, no wrinkle, no fold out of place. Underneath it, Corporal Jake Morrison died in action, 23 years old. He'd never made it home on his own 2 feet. Jake wasn't another soldier, he was his soldier, the one he trained, the one he laughed with, the one he carried through the Afghan hills when Jake sprained his ankle on patrol. Now he was carrying him one last time. The Marine Corps had appointed him as the escort, a sacred duty. No excuses, no interruptions, no letting go of the casket from the moment it left the plane until it was turned over to the family. But at this airport they did not care. They were running behind time. Luggage had to be rerouted, gates had to be cleared. What was one more box to shove along the rail way, sir? The manager repeated again. Flooded back, Jake talking about home, his mom's lemon pie, his dad's fishing trips, his sister's graduation. He hadn't been to the way Jake used to whistle country roads after every mission, making fun of it, saying it was his soul's GPS. This was not a drop-off, it was a goodbye, and the only thing that kept it from being lost was him. At that moment a small voice cut through the mounting tension. "Why is he clinging to the flag, Mommy?" A little girl no more than 6, holding a small teddy bear, had floated up beside the crowd. Her mother quieted her, but the Marine glanced down and nodded softly, "Because he's making sure someone gets home." The manager was shaken, the security guards lingered. Something was shifting, like the weight of sacrifice was finally being borne. The sailor bent slightly, his voice a bare whisper. "This man did everything. This flag is more than ornament, it's a promise." And so he began to walk slow, deliberate. His hand never left the casket. He escorted the honor march past the terminal, not because the airport asked him permission, but because duty never asked for permission. People began standing, hats were taken off, hands crossed, hearts. A wheelchair-bound veteran saluted, tears streamed down cheeks. No one moved, phones came out, not to show off but remembrance. Someone began singing the national anthem softly, others joined in, and there in the midst of a busy airport, time stood still. By the time they made it to the family waiting at the gate, the gloves on the Marine were wet in sweat. His spine ached, his throat burned, but he didn't waver. The mother collapsed into tears the moment she saw the casket. The father saluted, trembling. The sister dropped to her knees, whispering, "Welcome home, Jake." The Marine did not say a word. Then and only then did he slowly release the flag, folding it into a sharp triangle. He sat down and placed it in the mother's hands. He didn't die alone. He said he was loved, he was honored. And as he rose to his feet, every passenger staring silently. The airport manager, shaken and reedied, stepped forward too. "Didn't know," he whispered. "I'm sorry." The Marine nodded once. "Now you do." Applause broke out, not loud but slow, respectful, a chorus of realization echoing down the terminal walls. Because at that point America remembered. If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and leave a karma in the comments below.